Hello everyone. Yeah, I've got a book haul for you. A fair amount of these, like up to this point, you can't see all of them. They are for readathons. There's some in here that were pre-orders. And there's 3 books in here that are for a readathon I'd like to, or a read along, where it's the group read for February, but it's the 4th book in a series. The author or whoever said you can read them as standalones, but of course I got the other 3. So yeah, kind of a mixture, mostly pre-orders and books that go along with monthly read-alongs. So let's go ahead and delve in and I'll show you what I got. Some of these I will be reading for the month of, trying to read for the month of February. I will not be able to tell you because I don't have the paperwork in front of me if these, some of these will have color cards, so they're obviously going with my TBR game, but some of them I don't know if it's because I had to pull books for a different TBR game or a different readathon. I don't remember. I'll find out when I get to it in February if I can. So this first one is Once Upon an Island by Sarah Reddy. This came out of my Romance Reveal book box that I get, so a monthly subscription. There are 6 books in this stack from that box. Let's see. A beachy take on a classic romance. Fun-loving Isla Waterstone loves her laid-back life on Mariposa Island. She has everything she could ever want. A great job as a journalist for the local paper, amazing friends, and pink sand beaches with stunning tropical sunsets. The only problem with tiny tropical islands, there are more sea turtles than single men. So when British billionaire Declan Fox and his aristocratic friend arrive, Isla's friends know this can mean only one thing: marriage. After all, it's a truth universally acknowledged when a single billionaire travels to a tropical island, he must be in want of a wife. But Isla isn't convinced, especially because Declan is the most rude, arrogant, prideful man she's ever met. Or is he? From tropical Mariposa to England and back again, this playful summer rom-com finds that first impressions don't always tell the whole story. And the books from Romance Reveal are all spicy, but they range from mild to very, very spicy. So, and they're usually indie published. Sometimes you'll get a self-published in that box, but so yeah, there we go. This next one also came from my Romance Reveal book box, and this is Second Chance Vacation by Nicole Ryan. A house on the French Riviera, 3 weeks stuck with her ex-boyfriend with no escape. Memories that refused to go away and anger that was never resolved. Genevieve Bennett thought Jackson Thatcher Miles was a thing of her past. In the 9 years since their breakup, she has successfully managed to avoid him at all cost. Despite her efforts, when their friends organize a trip to St. Tropez with the intent to play matchmaker, Jen's past comes back with a vengeance. When a booking error leaves them sharing close quarters, Jen is forced to use all her efforts to keep him at arm's length. Jackson, however, is dead set on the opposite. With every new advance Jackson makes, Jen takes a step back. The question is, what is she supposed to do when her back is against a wall with Jackson towering over her? Stolen kisses lead to more, and old wounds are ripped open. Are they finally going to get their happy ending, or will old reservations leave them worse off than before? Who knows? Next is a cozy mystery, and I think I'm like this first grouping on here that goes to either this book or this book are going to be ones that I'm going to try to get to in February. We'll see. This one is a cozy mystery. It's the first in a book collector mystery series. This is the Christy Curse by Victoria Abbott. Jordan Bingham needs a new job and a new place to live. She's back in Harrison Falls, New York, living with her not-so-law-abiding uncles, in debt thanks to a credit card stealing ex and pending grad school loans. Let's see. Enter the perfect job, a research position that includes room and board, which will allow her to spend her days hunting down rare mysteries for an avid book collector. There's just one problem. Her employer, Vera Van Alst, the most hated citizen of Harrison Falls. Jordan's first assignment is to track down a rumored Agatha Christie play. It seems easy enough, but Jordan soon finds out that her predecessor was killed while looking for it, and there is still someone out there willing to murder to keep the play out of Vera's hands. Jordan's new job is good, but is it worth her life? Next up, I have Assistant to the Villain by Nicole Maehrer, I'm guessing is how you say the last name. I'm not 100% positive on that. Assistant wanted. Notorious high-ranking villain seeks loyal, level-headed assistant for unspecified office duties, supporting staff for random mayhem and terror, and other dark things in general. Discretion a must. Excellent benefits. With ailing family to support, Evie Sage's employment status isn't just important, it's vital. So when a mishap with Renadon's most infamous villain results in a job offer, naturally she says yes. No job is perfect, of course, but even less so when you develop a teeny crush on your terrifying, temperamental, and undeniably hot boss. Don't find evil so attractive, Evie. But just when she's getting used to severed heads suspended from the ceiling and the odd squish of an errant eyeball beneath her heel, Evie suspects this dungeon has a huge rat, and not just the literal kind. Because something rotten is growing in the kingdom of Renadon, and someone wants to take the villain and his entire nefarious empire out. Now Evie must not only resist drooling over her boss, but also figure out exactly who is sabotaging his work and ensure he makes them pay. After all, a good job is hard to find. Next up I have is a pre-order that came in, and this cover is what drew me in. It's so pretty. And then the synopsis sounds really good. So, Recipe for a Charmed Life by Rachel Linden. It's kind of a bright cover. There you go. You can see that better there. American chef Georgia May Jackson has one goal: to run her own restaurant in Paris. After a grueling decade working in Parisian kitchens, she is on the cusp of success. But in one disastrous night, Georgia loses her sous chef position, her French boyfriend, and her sense of taste. Renowned for her refined palate and daring use of bold flavors to create remarkable dishes, Georgia is devastated to discover her culinary gift has simply vanished. When she receives a surprising invitation from her estranged mother, Georgia flees to a small island near Seattle, hoping the visit will help her regain her spark in the kitchen. As she tentatively reconnects with her mom, a free-spirited hippie eager to make up for her past mistakes, Georgia realizes there is something about the enigmatic island she just cannot piece together. Good luck charms start appearing in the oddest places. Her neighbor is a puzzlingly antagonistic and annoyingly handsome oyster farmer, and her mom keeps hinting at a mysterious family legacy. With the clock ticking and time running out to win her dream job in Paris, Georgia begins to unravel some astonishing secrets that make her wonder if the true recipe for a charmed life might look and taste very different than she ever imagined. Next up is The House Witch by Delemhach. I am going to use this for, at the very least, my Catwalk TBR game for February, and it's the second book in a series. So I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. This is The House Witch number 2. The first one is just The House Witch 1. This one's number 2. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's kind of a cozy fantasy. It was great. So the synopsis for this one, you can skip ahead just a minute or two if you don't want to hear the synopsis of this one, if you haven't read the first one. As a wielder of domestic magic, Finley Ashowan likes to keep his affairs as neat and orderly as his kitchen. But between his work for the King and Queen of Daxaria and a new secret relationship with Lady Annika Genoir, his life is anything but tidy. For one thing, if Annika and Finn are to continue their romance, they'll need to sort out the pesky issue of Finn's being a commoner before Annika is forced into a political marriage that interferes with her own carefully laid plans. For another, pressure is mounting as the war with Trovak draws ever closer. When Finn requests time away from the castle to rest, the king agrees, but under a very particular condition. Finn must brave the streets of Ostis as a spy, sleuthing out the plans of the Travakian troops allegedly hidden there. Further complicating things, Finn's estranged father is on his way to Daxaria, an unexpected and unappreciated arrival that's bound to wreak even more havoc, in his son's life. As Finn forges new friendships and alliances, magical and non-magical alike, he becomes even more enmeshed in courtly intrigues, old feuds, and very personal problems. And the more he tries to clean up the various messes in his life, the more apparent it becomes that his troubles are only just beginning. This next one I can't tell you much about because it's a memoir. I know there's a reality TV show about this family. I did not watch it. I had no interest in it, but this is a buddy read or a group buddy read, like a read along. So I am going to go ahead and read it, but I know nothing about this family, so I don't know, we'll see. But this one is Counting the Cost by Jill Duggar. So again, it's just a memoir. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you'll obviously probably have a little bit more idea of what it's about if you saw the show or know anything about the Duggar family. I don't, so I know nothing going in. Absolutely nothing. Another group read, I think this is one to like read diversely, where we're trying to read from authors of various backgrounds. I might have that mixed up with a different readathon that this one's actually for, so don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. But this book is Sula by Toni Morrison. And this is a classic. So I'm not quite sure what it's about because the back doesn't have a full synopsis. It just says two girls who grow up to become women, two friends who become something worse than enemies. In this brilliantly imagined novel, Nobel Prize laureate Toni Morrison tells the story of Nell Wright and Sula Peace, who met as children in the small town of Medellin, Ohio. Their devotion is fierce enough to withstand bullies and the burden of a dreadful secret. It endures after Nell has grown up to be a pillar of the black community and Sula has become a pariah. But their friendship ends in an unforgivable betrayal, or does it end? Terrifying, comic, ribald? I don't know. And tragic. Sula is a work that overflows with life. So it does, from that little bit, it sounds good, but I'm still not positive, other than it just being basically about friendship. Okay, so this next one is one that I'm going to try to get to again in February. And this is the last one in this stack that I'm going to try to get to in February. I don't remember what group read this is for, but it is for a group read. But I'm talking about House of Cotton by Monica Brashears. 19 years old, broke, and effectively an orphan, Magnolia doesn't have much to look forward to. She feels stuck and haunted by her overdrawn bank account, by her predatory landlord, by the ghost of her late grandmother, Mama Brown. One night, while working at her dead-end gas station job, a mysterious slick stranger named Cotton walks in and offers to turn Magnolia's luck into a lucrative modeling job at his family's funeral home. Magnolia accepts, but despite things looking up, Magnolia's problems fatten along with her wallet. When Cotton's request becomes increasingly weird, Magnolia discovers there's a lot more at stake than just her rent. Sharp as a belted knife, this sly social commentary cuts straight to the bone, revealing the aftermath of the American plantation and what it means to be poor, black, and a woman in the God-fearing South. So, sounds good. This next one is a pre-order that has come in. I read A Cat Cafe Christmas by this author, really enjoyed it, and then I saw that they had a new book coming out, and so I wanted to get that one. And it looks like cats are going to be a strong theme in this author's writing, at least so far. But this particular book is Finding Mr. Purrfect, with purr, like a cat's purr, Finding Mr. Purrfect by Codi Gary. All right. Charity Simmons may have great taste in friends, felines, and fruit tarts. But if there's one thing the baker and co-owner of Meow and Forever Cat Cafe knows, it's that she has horrible taste in men. Case in point, Will Schwartz. He may be the best friend of her best friend's boyfriend, but after their one night together, Charity is positive Will's nothing but a womanizing charmer, despite his nice guy persona and adorable crooked smile. So why then did she pick him to pretend date to get her parents off her back about being single? Will Schwartz may give relationships a hard pass, but he's not about to say no to fake dating Charity. She's brilliant, hilarious, and, best of all, she'll put an end to his mother's interrogations about his love life. And maybe, after all this time, giving him the cold shoulder, Charity will finally warm up to him. But it's not long before Will and Charity realize they've got much more than they bargained for, and they're freaking out. What if what they have isn't make-believe, but the real, forever kind of love? So fake dating. This next one is a pre-order. This author has 2 other books out. I have heard the author say his name, so I have heard how to pronounce it. But do you think I remember how to actually pronounce it correctly? No, so I don't know if I'm going to say it right. More than likely I'm not. That tends to be my way of things. But I'm talking about The Fury by Alex. What the heck? Hi. That was a loud look at me. Yeah? Alex Michaelides. She has everything she needs. So I don't know what she's wanting. Oop! Rolled right off of the chair. All right, The Fury. This was a pre-order. I really enjoyed The Silent Patient and the Maidens by this author, so I'm excited to get to this one. This is a tale of murder. Or maybe that's not quite true. At its heart, it's a love story, isn't it? Lana Farrar is a reclusive ex-movie star and one of the most famous women in the world. Every year, she invites her closest friends to escape the English weather and spend Easter on her idyllic private Greek island. I tell you this because you may think you know this story. You probably read about it at the time. It caused a real stir in the tabloids, if you remember. It had all the necessary ingredients for a press sensation. A celebrity, a private island cut off by the wind, and a murder. We found ourselves trapped there overnight. Our old friendships concealed hatred and a desire for revenge. What followed was a game of cat and mouse, a battle of wits, full of twists and turns, building to an unforgettable climax. The night ended in violence and death. But who am I? My name is Elliot Chase, and I'm going to tell you a story unlike you've ever heard. So, it sounds good, and where I liked the other 2, I am excited for this one. Okay, yeah, so this one and then the 3 after this all came from the Romance Reveal book box. So this particular one is Mr. Hookup by Marni Mann. Hooked. An app designed for the ideal one-night stand is the brainchild of Harvard graduate students Easton Jones and his 2 best friends. When Easton creates his Hooked profile, he gets a 100% perfect match. Who is this sure thing? Her username is Love. Their chemistry is off the charts explosive, and just when Easton begins falling for her, she disconnects from the app and disappears. 5 years later, Hooked is now the #1 dating app in the country, but that's not the only thing on fire. Easton's brilliant, gorgeous new recruit, Drake Madden, has ignited a desire he hasn't experienced in years. Professionally and personally, they're sizzling. Just as things really start getting serious, Love resurfaces. She wants a chance to explain, and she's sending Easton's heart into rewind. He has a loving woman in the flesh and a fantasy from his past. Easton's world is about to be rocked, and rocked hard. Now this next cover might be a little bit more difficult to read because it's a glossy cover, so with the light, that's not too bad. No, I got it at a good angle first try. So, Hooking Up with Mr. Wrong by Ellouise Liston. College was supposed to be the start of something new, and boy was it. I saw my college experience in my head, studying for my dream job in one of the big 5 publishing houses, hanging out with my friends and being there for my sister and enjoying my new dorm room. But nothing would have prepared me for my new dorm neighbor. Blue-eyed, 6 foot, pain in my butt. You think I'm kidding? Ha! Well, let me tell you. 1, he plays his music too loud and turns it up when I try to study. 2, he steals my favorite booth at the local diner. 3, he purposefully chases away my dates, and what's worse, 4, one drunken night of weakness leads me to getting knocked up by him. Try having a baby with someone you hate. I dare you. So hooking up with Mr. Wrong. This next one I believe is a hockey romance, and this one's Cross-Checked Hearts by Cali Melle. I'm guessing is how the last name is said. Could be wrong. And underneath Logan, it says, it's been 2 years since I left for college and the last time I saw Isla. But when she shows up on my doorstep, the last thing I'm expecting is old feelings to resurface. Growing up, we were friends until everything started to shift. Our friendship turned into stolen kisses and forbidden touches. But we agreed it could never be anything more. Not when her brother was my best friend. Leaving Clifton Falls meant leaving the past behind too. Hockey is my life now, more so than before, and Isla is a distraction, but what happens when the lines begin to blur and she becomes the only thing I can see. And then underneath Isla it says, Logan Knight, star hockey player, my brother's best friend and the first boy I ever loved, but we could never be more than friends. He broke my heart when he left for college, and now, 2 years later, he's back in my life and my new roommate. Old feelings resurface, and our friendship is put to the test. I've tried to resist him as long as I could, but Logan has a way of knocking down every wall I've built around my heart. It's only a matter of time before our secret comes to light, and when it finally does, will Logan be the one to protect my heart? Now this next one is the last one from the Romance Reveal book box that I got in January. And this one's actually book number 5 in a series. This one is Forever Us in the Forever series by Jennifer J. Williams. And I really like this cover. My first one-night stand since my messy divorce was perfect. I drove to a bar an hour away from the small town I now call home. I should have driven 2 hours because Mr. Purrfect is actually Officer Matt Turner, and he's my school's new resource officer. Matt has no interest in relationship, thanks to his parents, and that's fine with me. I'm busy raising my 2 girls by myself. But when he steps in to help us when we really need it, I'm tempted to give him more than just one night. I've been burnt by the promise of forever before, but I want to believe it's different for us. So with that one being book number 5 in a series, I went ahead and got book number 1. So, Forever series again by Jennifer J. Williams. This one is called Forever Sunshine. Losing her job on the last day of the school year should be the worst of the news Emily Benson uncovers, right? I wondered if it's like the same character, only because this one doesn't say a name in the synopsis, but this one does, but they both deal with the school. I don't know. We'll see. But when she walks in on her boyfriend and her sister in bed, but then she walks in, not when, then. Okay, then she walks in on her boyfriend and her sister in bed. And it's been going on for a while. She drunkenly accepts a new job out of state, but never expected to go to the wrong house and find the most attractive man she's ever seen on the other side of the door. Nathan Riggs isn't looking for a woman. His focus is on his son, his family, and his work. His immediate attraction to Emily just pisses him off. When Emily becomes his son Jack's teacher, and the only person who's been able to reach Jack after the trauma of his mom's death, Nathan realizes Emily may be the answer to a prayer he didn't know he had been asking. Emily's past comes back to haunt her, but Nathan is not about to lose the woman of his dreams when he just found her. Moving forward after betrayal and heartache caused both Emily and Nathan to reevaluate their lives and their relationship. This next one is another pre-order, and this one is The Djin Waits 100 Years by Shubnum Khan. I'm sure I said that wrong. I apologize, but The Djin Waits 100 Years. Akbar Manzil was once a grand estate off the coast of South Africa. Now, nearly a century since it was built, it stands in ruins, an isolated boarding house for misfits seeking to forget their pasts and disappear into the mansion's dark corridors. Until Sana. She and her friend are the latest of Akbar Manzil's long list of tenants in search of a new home after suffering painful loss. Unlike the others who chose not to look too closely at the mansion's unsettling qualities, the strange assortment of bones in the overgrown garden, the mysterious figures sometimes seen to move at night, Sana is curious and questioning and finds herself irresistibly drawn to the history of the mansion, to the eerie and forgotten East Wing, home to a clutter of broken and abandoned objects, and to the locked door at its end, unopened for a century. Behind the door is a bedroom frozen in time, with faded photographs of a couple in love and a worn diary that whispers of a past, the long-forgotten story of a young woman named Mina, who died there tragically 100 years ago. Watching Sana from the room's shadows is a grieving Djin, a mournful spirit who once loved Mina and has haunted the mansion since her mysterious death. Obsessed with Mina's story and unaware of the creature that follows her, Sana digs into the past like fingers into a wound, awakening the memories of the house itself, and dredging up the old terrible secrets that will change the lives of everyone, living and dead, at Akbar Manzil. So this sounds really good. Now this next one I think is a YA, but I'm not positive. But this one was also a pre-order, and it was the cover and the sprayed edges that drew me in. So the sprayed edges, and here's the cover. So, Sanctuary of the Shadow by Aurora Ascher. Enter at your own risk and discover the greatest show unearthed in this explosive, darkly imaginative debut fantasy. For humans, the circus is a place filled with wonder and amazement. For Harrow, though, it's a place to hide from those who slaughtered her entire clan. Disguising her abilities as part of her act has kept her true identity safe for years, until he arrives. A strange new attraction with no name, no memory of who or even what he is, let alone an explanation for his odd yet deadly powers. But beneath the layers of anger and isolation, one glimpse into his inky eyes reveals a soul that calls out to the loneliness in her own. And so she chooses him. Harrow is drawn into the darkness to her insatiable need to soothe the beast who threatens their very existence. But with every secret she unlocks from his past, another from hers whispers free as well, luring enemies who will stop at nothing to get their final revenge on Harrow. And she's afraid she's given them the perfect weapon against her, because he's not what he seems. But maybe it's time they finally learn neither is she. And then there's the end pages. And does this have foiling? Yeah. And then there's the hardcover. It's the fire, water, earth, wind. So the elements on the cover. I don't think there's anything on the back. Let's see. Yeah, no, nothing on the back. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful edition. Now this next one I got from Barnes & Noble. My mom and I went to Barnes & Noble, and we did this on the day 1 year that my grandma has passed away, just to kind of, you know, we went to McDonald's for breakfast because my grandma loved to get breakfast burrito and coffee or the iced tea from McDonald's. So my mom and I went to McDonald's. We just talked a lot about our memories about my grandma, and my grandma loved to read. Cozy mysteries and historical fiction, historical romance were her favorite genres. So I went and I got myself 2 cozy mysteries. One of them I already read the synopsis for, and is one that I'm going to try to get to in February. So that one was one that you saw in the first like 5 books or something of this video. This next one, cozy mystery, is Murder Past Due by Miranda James. This is book number 1 in a Cat in the Stacks mystery. So the synopsis says, everyone in Athena, Mississippi knows Charlie Harris, the good-natured librarian with a rescued Maine Coon cat named Diesel that he walks on a leash. Charlie's returned to his hometown to immerse himself in books, But soon enough, he's entangled in a real-life thriller. A famous author of gory bestsellers and a former classmate of Charlie's, Godfrey Priest, may be the pride of Athena, but Charlie remembers him as an arrogant, manipulative jerk, and he's not the only one. Godfrey's homecoming as a distinguished alumnus couldn't possibly go worse. By lunch, he's put a man in the hospital, and by dinner, Godfrey's dead. Now it's up to Charlie, with some help from Diesel, to paw through the town's grudges and find the killer before an impatient deputy throws the book at the wrong person. But every last one of Charlie's friends and co-workers had a score to settle with the nasty novelist, as if the murder wasn't already perplexing enough. So I like the synopsises and the titles and the covers of Cozy Mysteries. I think they're different than what we normally see. They're their own thing in themselves, and I love them. Now this next one, I just remembered there is a readathon or a read-along where each month there's a theme. You just have to read one book for the prompt. And the prompt is basically to read a poetry collection. This book will count. So I'm going to use this for February. So I'm going to try to get to this book in February. And this book is definitely unique. And I think I will try to read this both ways. So let's see. Maybe I'll learn a couple of new words. I'm just trying to get to, there we go. Okay. So, and this is one that I actually won from a Goodreads giveaway. And this one's a hard copy. And this is Promises of Gold by Jose Olivarez. I know I said that wrong, I'm sorry. But Promises of Gold. The Spanish title is Promesas de Oro. And I'm sure I slaughtered that, but anyway.
I found this on the web.
I wasn't asking you. Okay, Promises of Gold. What's interesting is this half is English, this half is Spanish. And in order to read the Spanish half, you have to flip the book. So now the English is upside down, the Spanish is right side up. I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to try to read the Spanish synopsis. I don't know how far I'll get. En esta innovadora colección de poemas, José Olivarez explora cada tipo de amor, el propio, fraternal, romántico, familiar, cultural, lidiando con las contradicciones del sueño americano con una humanidad. I'm going to stop because I don't want to say things wrong, because I know that in a lot of languages, one word can sound similar to another, but there's a slight pronunciation difference that can be between a good word and a bad word, or an offensive word. So I'm going to stop there. But I would like to try to read the Spanish version. I know I'll be able to recognize a couple of words, but not all of them. So the English version says, in this groundbreaking collection of poems, Jose, I'm just going to say Jose because I know I've said the last name wrong a couple of times. So Jose explores every kind of love, self, brotherly, romantic, familial, cultural, grappling with the contradictions of the American dream with unflinching humanity. He lays bare the ways in which love is complicated by forces larger than our hearts. Whether readers enter this collection in English or via the Spanish translation by poet David Ruano Gonzalez, these extraordinary poems are sure to be treasured for their illuminations of love and life. Jose is the son of Mexican immigrants. His debut book, Citizen Illegal, was a finalist for the Penn or Djin Stein Book Award and the winner of the Chicago Review Books Award for Poetry in 2018. Huh. cool. So, okay, so Jose's the author, and it looks like David is the translator. So, yeah, I'm going to stick this on my stack, ever-growing stack of books to read in February. I don't know if we'll get to it, but I'm going to try. Okay, now these last three are all part of the same series, same author, all of that. So these are part of the All Saints series. Now, book number 4 in this series is one that's going to be for a read-along. So I did get these other 3 to hopefully get to at some point. And book number 4 I do have pre-ordered. I don't remember if it's supposed to come in like the last day or 2 of January. I am filming this just a little bit before the end of January, or if it's supposed to come in the first bit of February. Not quite sure on that, but either way. All right, number 1 is Pretty Reckless by L.J. Shen, excuse me, not G, J. And I did look on the synopsis on these. I have not read the synopsis yet, but they do have different names, so I'm assuming these are more, especially where they said that you can read these out of order, they're more companion type books. Okay, number 1 is Pretty Reckless, right? Number 1, yes. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Penn Scully has had 4 years to stew on what Daria Followhill, I'm guessing, did to him, and now his heart is completely iced over. He took her first kiss, and she took away the only person he ever loved. He asked her to save the rest of her firsts for him, and she walked all over his heart in stiletto heels and left it bleeding on a bright summer day. Now everything has changed. When circumstances leave Penn homeless in his senior year, the Followhills take him in as their latest shiny project. That means, for the time being, he's Daria's housemate, living right across the hall, and once he sees her again, he's determined to make this spoiled princess pay for ruining the only good thing in his life. But Daria is used to being misunderstood, being slammed for every snarky comment, cynical eye roll, and foot she puts in the way of the people who hurt her, being the girl everyone wants to see cry and keeping her tears hidden. Penn wants her first, but she wants to be his last everything. The problem is, once they see past each other's cutting barbs and wounded hearts, the truths they uncover might just start something new altogether. Okay, this next one is Broken Knight with the K, so K-N-I-G-H-T, so like a knight in shining armor. And this is book number 2 in the All Saints series, again by L.J. Shen. I'm guessing is how that one is said. I do enjoy these covers. Not all love stories are written the same way. Theirs has torn chapters, missing paragraphs, and a bittersweet ending. Luna Rexroth is everyone's favorite wallflower, sweet, caring, charitable, quiet. But it's not real. Underneath the meek tomboy exterior is a girl who knows exactly what and who she wants. Namely, the boy from the treehouse who taught her how to curse in sign language. Sweet, we got deaf representation here. Okay, hopefully. Because not everyone that knows sign language is deaf, so I don't know what's going on there. Maybe a coda, maybe an interpreter. I don't know. We'll find out when I read it. Or hopefully the synopsis will say, I'm getting ahead of myself. How to curse in sign language, who taught her to laugh and to love, shielding her from the world when her mother abandoned her. Except Luna is not the young, defenseless girl she used to be, and she doesn't need his protection anymore. Knight Cole is everyone's favorite football hero, gorgeous, athletic, rugged, popular, but that's not real either. Beneath the daredevil, hair-raising mask, he's fighting his own silent battles. So it sounds like he's deaf, at the very least hard of hearing, but it sounds like he's deaf. And while it might seem like he could knock a girl up with his gaze alone, he's only ever had eyes for the girl across the street, Luna. When life throws a curveball at All Saints Golden Boy, he's forced to realize not all knights are heroes, and sometimes the only way love can flourish is if two people learn to grow apart before they can grow back together. But by the time they both learn that lesson, their forever might be too broken to repair. So, all right, the last one for this haul is number 3 in the All Saints series, and that one is Angry God. He's been told that good girls like bad boys, and he's as bad as they come. They call Von Spencer an angry god, but to Lenora Astalis, he's nothing but a heartless prince. His parents rule this town, its police, every citizen and boutique on Main Street, and all Lenora owns is the grudge against him for the time he almost killed her. Not to mention that between hooking up with a different girl every weekend and breaking hearts, noses, and rules alike, Von still finds the time to give Lenora hell during their senior year. She fights back tooth and nail, but she never expects him to chase her across the ocean for an art program after graduation. Now here they are, living together in a dark, looming castle on the outskirts of London. He's a fellow intern, a prodigal sculptor, a dangerous genius. Everyone says that Carlisle Castle is haunted, and Lenora thinks they are right. After all, the castle now hides Lenora's and Von's most ghastly secrets, and their paths begin to intertwine in ways they never could have imagined. Von thinks he can kill the ghosts of his past, but he doesn't realize he's slaying Lenora's heart along the way, and some wounds never heal. She may know his secret, but now he knows her weakness. So that's it for this haul. Let me know, have you read any of these books? Have you read different books by any of these authors? Do any of these books sound good and now you've added to your radar to check out at some point in the future? Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below, and until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I'll talk to you later.